Join me today as we talk about a 70s TV disaster movie, A Fire in the Sky. This is the Geek Cabal channel, and today I'm Bobbie, and today we're going to be talking about a 70s TV disaster movie, A Fire in the Sky. As I mentioned in a more recent movie, the 70s saw a lot of disaster movies. Like, that was definitely a known trend in the 70s. And I don't really think other decades really quite match it in that. So, you had movies like The Towering Inferno, The Poseidon Adventure, Meteor, which I covered in another video recently, and Earthquake, Airport. I think there's several airport movies, actually. In case you don't know, those are the main movies that are being mocked by the Airplane movie, the first one. The second one is kind of an extension of stuff from the first movie. So, so this kind of continued the trend. This was, I think, 1979. Now, this is not to be confused with the movie from the 90s called Fire in the Sky, which is about a guy in, I think, Arizona being abducted by aliens. I want to say his name was Travis something. He's missing for days, claimed to be abducted by aliens. I don't remember who all's in that. I know Robert Patrick is one of the other people in it. Might get to that movie at some point, weird movie. But, this is about a comet headed towards the Earth. And actor Richard Crenna, I believe, he's, the main thing I know him from is Rambo. He's the guy who trained Rambo, who comes to try to solve the situation in Rambo Part 1, and then in Part 2 sends him back to Vietnam, and then in Part 3 gets abducted, and not abducted, gets captured in Afghanistan, and Rambo has to go save him. But he's also in Hot Shots Part 2, where he goes in. It's basically the same role he played in Rambo 3. And fun fact, if you actually watch the credits of the Hot Shots movies, there's a bunch of just weird stuff in there. And I think the second one claims that the actor Richard Crenna invented tartar sauce. I'm relatively certain that's a bogus claim. I've never actually looked it up, but I'm pretty sure on that one. So, sorry, I gotta roll my windows down here. It's getting a little warm in here. And I can't turn the air up because the phone sits right in front of the vents, and it'll screw with the sound. So anyway, like I said, he plays an astrophysicist, and so they find out that this comet's heading towards the Earth, and they've got a week, 2 weeks. It's not a whole lot of time, but they're relatively certain it's going to hit, and they're talking to the president. And I believe it's the president, and they're telling him, hey, we think it's going to hit the Earth. And he's like, no. Richard Crenna's like, no, it's going to hit the Earth. In fact, it's probably going to hit in the southwestern United States. And so he explains, they've got better projections than the other folks. And so within a few days, he's for sure it's going to hit in Phoenix. And most of the drama in the movie comes from the governor of Arizona not wanting to evacuate everyone because they know that, some people will get killed just because of the panic, because people won't actually go along with it. They know that a certain percentage of people, no matter what they tell them, won't evacuate. And some people will wait to the last minute. They just start walking through all the concerns they have. And Richard Crenna's like, look, guys, I don't care. You gotta get these people out of here. The comet's going to hit, and whenever it does, Phoenix is going to be obliterated. So then we've got a bunch of other little side stories going on. We got everything going on with the governor, Richard Crenna trying to gather more evidence, to say, hey, look, it's for sure going to hit here at this time, and you got people working for the governor. Then you've got a woman who owns a TV station, who divorced her husband, who owns the newspaper part of the business, and she's wanting to go forward to explain this stuff to people. The governor's like, if you go on TV with this, we'll have them pull your FEC license or FCC license. And she's like, well, too bad. Like, people need to know because the city's going to be leveled. People need to get the hell out. And Richard Crenna's having to deal with like the disaster preparedness guy, and they're looking at like all the places they had considered to like hide from a nuclear attack. And Richard Crenna's like, well, okay, but you're not considering some things like the fact that whenever this thing hits, it's going to cause a pretty damn powerful earthquake, because this isn't going to be like a nuclear bomb with an aerial burst. It's just going to incinerate everything. Like, things have to be able to withstand a certain level of earthquake damage too, and that eliminates a bunch of the underground shelters. So, yeah. And then you got some other, I don't know these people's names, but I've seen them elsewhere. Like that guy who's doing like the disaster preparedness stuff, he is Matthew Broderick's character's dad in War Games. And then the woman who runs the television station, she is the chief of police, I believe, or the mayor. I don't remember which one she is in the Dragnet movie. The guy that plays the governor, who was in another movie I talked about recently, By Dawn's Early Light. He's the one who commands, I never did find out if that was NORAD or not, but I think it's NORAD. And yeah, so you've got like all these other kind of big characters, and Michael Biehn is in it. Like, this is like a 5 years before Terminator Michael Biehn, so he looks very young in this movie. So yeah, you had that, and you got just all kinds of other side plots to add to the drama, because it's a TV movie. Things are needlessly stretched out, but still interesting. And you've got the effects on the meteor are very sketchy, but again, this is the late 70s on TV. But for the most part, it's literally just a white ball out in space to make it kind of like it's moving, and it just randomly is flashing at various points for some reasons. Not meteor, it's a comet, sorry. I guess that's how they thought a ball of ice flying through space would look. I don't know. But yeah, and you've also got like the armies like trying to get people out of the city, and things like that. So I thought it was decent. It's long. So I got the feeling this might have been like a multi-night kind of thing for a TV movie, because for the younger in the audience here, like all 5 of you, some like TV movies used to be a TV miniseries, and some would be like 2 nights, some would be like 5. Like The Stand, for instance, the first attempt to adapt Stephen King's novel, is like 5.5 hours long, because it stretched out. I think it was 5 nights, I think, because I barely remember watching it when it was on. I have it like on DVD and digital now, but yeah, but it was like stretched out. And so, as a commercial product, part of the goal is to get as many commercials as you can in it, and you do that by it being longer than it needs to be. And so, you have these you've got all these just random side character arcs going all over the place. Like, there's a woman who's concerned that her husband, her son, and some other kids are out camping, and they have no idea that this is happening. And it's not until the kids are like, hey, Mr. whatever his name is, what's that up there in the sky? And he's like, hey, Timmy, give me your radio. Let me turn that thing on. And because he wanted to get away from everything and, teach his kids about, survivalism and all this stuff out in the wilderness. And so, like, whenever one of the kids had the radio, like, he took the batteries out and took the radio. And so he turns the thing on. It's like, seek shelter immediately. Like, the comet's going to hit, and if you're not here, you got to do these things. And he's like, oh, shit. So has all the kids, like, dig as deep as they can, because they're going to get below ground level because of the blast wave. And just have to hope and pray that's enough. Spoiler alert, they'll survive. But the guy's wife's like just out driving through the desert, honking her horn, trying to find him. She ends up having to hide under her car. Richard Crenna comes across a bunch of Native Americans who are out there, and he's like, why didn't you guys evacuate? And they're like, we didn't know anything was happening until we heard it on the radio, and no one's come to help. So he finds one of the younger teenagers, makes sure he can drive, and he tells him to put all the kids in the car, and he's like, head this direction, get the hell out of here. And So he saves the kids, and just near, you know, we didn't see him at the end, so I'm assuming he didn't make it, even though he very clearly had that whole like, look, I warned everybody, I don't plan on going down with the ship, I'm getting the hell out of here. So yeah, he had to make the noble sacrifice there. But yeah, like I said, I thought it was entertaining. It's long, it's meandering, but and all the drama comes from like, will the bureaucracy come through or not, kind of stuff. So interesting movie, worth checking out. One in a long list of calamities flying at us from outer space kind of movies. This is definitely the precursor to something like Armageddon or Deep Impact. So yeah, unlike those though, I think they do fire some nukes at this thing to try to stop it, but no Phoenix gets just toasted. Some of the best destruction of models that 1979 TV budget could offer right there. Yeah, I was kind of disappointed we didn't see anyone fried by the X-ray pulse, but oh well. Anyway, worth checking out. So let me know down in the comments if you've seen this movie, you plan on watching it. I think I watched it on Amazon Prime. Yeah, I did. I watched this and then it suggested a Meteor, which I've already covered. So there'll be a link down there. I have no idea if this movie was ever released on home video of any kind. If so, there'll be affiliate links for those too. But let me know down in the comments if you've seen this before, intend on watching it. Does this all sound totally preposterous? Are you tired of me covering asteroid movies yet? Because there's more. Like, I will cover Deep Impact and Armageddon at some point in the near future. So have to see. And I'm not going to leave out Night of the Comet, don't worry. But yeah, that's about all I got to say. So like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Sharing and commenting on things that help us grow the channel, we always appreciate it. Those of you who are subscribed, we really appreciate it, and thank you for sticking with us. Hopefully you ride this train to the end, wherever that may be. Hopefully not in Phoenix when a comet's about to hit. But yeah, that's all I got to say. So I'll be seeing you folks out there.